Hey everyone, welcome to another $1,000 shop search. I've got my $1,000 in singles here and I'm about to show you what I found. But before I do, let's talk about this week's tip. Now, no matter how many notes are in your collection, uh, you're first and foremost probably never going to get them all. Secondly, though, um, even if you have all of the notes that you want, that doesn't mean that the collecting portion is over. Every one of us has one note or many notes that we think to ourselves, I should upgrade that. Well, that's kind of like phase two of collecting. Phase one, get everything you can. Phase two, okay, now let's try to do a little bit of upgrading, and it's always fun to see what's out there. I've got numerous notes that are raw that I've sent in for grading, but I've got other notes that I still have that are raw that I'm probably not going to send in just because they don't quite make the cut. So when I go on eBay and when I go on Heritage, I'm always looking for notes, not only that I don't have, but notes that I can find at a good price that will upgrade the notes I currently have. And, well, like I said, that's just part of the fun. Now, when it comes to upgrading notes, I'm going to throw a random number out there. Let's say you paid $200 for a given note. And then you find the same note in much better condition for $300. Well, maybe, just maybe, you can get close to that $300 when you sell your original note in order to cover the cost of the upgrade. That way you're essentially upgrading for free. If you can do that, great. And even if you only come close, even if you only sell that original note for $250, that means you only had to pay $50 out of pocket to be able to upgrade the condition of your note. That's the kind of thing you should be looking for if you've already got a sprawling collection, kind of like mine, being able to pick and choose different notes to upgrade. And that's kind of like what I did this week. And I'm not going to show you the original, I'm only going to show you the upgrade because, well, what am I going to do with the original? That'll probably end up in an auction real soon, so kind of a sneak peek for that. All right, anyway, let's take a look at what I found this week. Let's slide these out of the way. And got a stack this week. Found a Where's George, very familiar stamp for me, so I will log that. Another Where's George here. I have not seen this stamp, so I'm kind of excited to see where this one has been. Here we've got a trinary, 2s, 4s, and 7s. This one is 2s, 6s, and 9s. Another trinary here, 4s, 6s, and 7s. And that is so close. 6, 7, 4, 4, 6, 7, 4, 6. So 2 away from being a repeater. Let's see. This one is 1s, 7s, and 9s with only that one solitary 1 in there to break up the binary. This one has quads, quad zeros. Quad 1s on this note, and it's really nice. And some stars, 2017 A star note. 2017 A, I'm looking to make sure that that star is not filled in, checking both stars, and also checking to make sure there is not an ink contamination error on all of these. Another 2017 A in really nice shape. As they stick together, look at that. And you see those numbers, 0681130 and 06. Consecutive stars that are crisp. So that would have been cool to find that whole strap. Another 2017 A note. And this one's got some writing on it. That's too bad because it's also really crisp. 2017, no filled in star on this one, pretty crisp as well. 2017 from Kansas City. I always like seeing the J notes because there are not very many of those out there. 2017 Dallas star note. Another 2017 Dallas. Another 2017 rough shape. But this one's interesting because even though it's in rough shape, you can still see the wet ink transfer on here. I don't consider that an error, mainly because I saw it on so many notes. But what I didn't see is what happens once a note becomes circulated. And as you can tell, this note is heavily circulated, yet you can still see those marks. And I was wondering, long term, what would happen to those over-inking marks. And yeah, they're still visible. So that was just an interesting find. Once again, you can see it stand out pretty well on this one as well. Star note from 2013. Another 2013 star note, not in the greatest of shape. Another 2013, starting with a couple zeros, so maybe something there. 2013B, what do you know? I think this is actually in the stretch where it could be one of the duplicate notes. And then we've got a older note, 2001. Pretty rough shape on that one. 2001, a little bit better shape. That's just dirt. That is not a over-inking error or a smudge or anything like that. Just dirt. 1999. Another 99. Another 99. These are all pretty soft. This one's kind of crisp. 1999. Kind of a cool number. You got 5 of a kind on there. 55555 right there. 1995, checking to see if it's a web note. It is not. 1988A, also checking for a web note. This one is a trinary, 0s, 6s, and 5s. Not a web note, though. 1988A, also not a web note. And the oldest note, this one is pretty crisp as well. This is a 1974. So I get excited when I find notes from the 70s just because nobody bothered to save them. They are pretty tough to find in circulation. Normally they're going to be pretty shredded. And, well, like I said, notes in the 60s, people had a reason to save because these were new. Notes from the 70s, not so much. All right. So what did I bring out this week? Well, this is an upgrader for me. I found a graded 50-cent 4th issue fractional currency. This one is featuring Abraham Lincoln. Now, when I first dove into fractional currency, I always thought this would be the note to get. This note was printed shortly after Lincoln's death. It's probably one of the first notes that has Lincoln on it after his assassination. There are notes where he is on it while he was still alive. Then they made a law. They passed a law saying that living people couldn't be on their notes anymore. I think Spinner had something to do with that since he put himself on a note. Anyway, the 50-cent fractional, United States fractional note featuring Abraham Lincoln. Very cool looking note here. Check out the back. You can see the printing on this is very crisp. And it was graded 35 EPQ, which is exceptional paper quality. Now, considering that these were heavily used because of the lack of change, to find one that is graded EPQ and in this decent condition is pretty good. I was quite happy to find this one, so I will be selling my previous note. I do have videos of that note as well, but I'm sure when I put that in the auction, I'll run through that one real quick. All right, let's take a look at what the book has to say about this particular fractional. I've got it right here, and there it is on top. We've got, let's see, large seal watermark paper with the pink silk fibers. That's what that is, because that is the only one. The other note has been deleted, so that's not the case. And you can see even in VG8, this is a $200 note. In F12, fine 12, you're talking $225. VF20 is $300, and EF40 is $475. $700 once you get the choice uncirculated. So this is one of the higher price notes, obviously showing the bust of Abraham Lincoln like it says there, with pink silk fibers. Let's take a peek at that real close and see what we can come up with. See if we can actually see any of that stuff in there, because a lot of people ask, and sometimes it's just so hard to see, but this one being graded stands the best chance of spotting any of that stuff. Right there on top, is that what they're talking about? That's definitely pink. Look on the back, see what else we got. Yep, you can see pink fibers here. Yep, that is the back side of that particular fiber. That most certainly are pink fibers there. You can kind of see them in the paper right here as well. Yeah, so that's what that is. 50-cent 4th issue fractional currency featuring Abraham Lincoln. One of the coolest fractionals you're going to find, mainly because Lincoln is on it. Lincoln was the one that helped put this stuff together. He was then assassinated, then you find his picture on there. So yeah, you would think this is #1 for fractionals, but the Spinner note always gets high priority for some reason. This is the one that I wanted to get. This is the one I was very proud to get. And now that I've got one graded, I can certainly get rid of my initial offering. If you learned anything new this week, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. Love reading all your comments. Guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.